For life.
Yeah. Bullet cast. What's going on? Stacy. This elite podcast in here. Ain't nobody better. Look. Yeah. Listen to us every time we live in the side. When you turn it on, it's just defining the mind. If you feel it, our opinions is great. When everything we moving now in the state, turn us on. If the feeling is right, every opinion now comes from the heart.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know the name, you know the voice, you know exactly why I'm here. Just in case if you don't, I am a 27-year-old piece of gold on the side of the microphone and the greatest sports and recreational podcaster in the world today. Nobody does this better than I do, except the people that actually get paid for it. All right, what's going on, guys? You know, things have happened. I have people here. I have the agent of chaos, Miss Katie Scarlett.
Hello, hello.
I have the Bulletcast podcast champion, Brandon Tanguma.
Hello, hello.
And, of course, I have Brian Tronic.
The longest reigning Bulletcast Universal Heavyweight Champion, Brian Tronic.
You're actually not, but go into your spiel while I answer this call real quick.
The Charlotte Flair extraordinaire, okay? The King Queen City, all right? What other names do I have? The Podfather, the Tron Casso, okay? The Microtron Messiah, okay? What's the other name, Brandon? The Tronadian Destroyer.
Big Daddy B.
Big Daddy B.
all this nonsense. I mean, do we have any other names? Cindy's made an appearance. Hello, Cindy.
The real Cindy.
The real
Cindy. Say hi,
Yeah.
Cindy.
Hi.
We got to get Cindy on the show one time, talk some wrestling.
Some wrestling.
You know what? I used to have a segment called Noobs Watch Wrestling. I think we should bring Cindy on. I mean, I know she's not a noob because she watches with you, but like, show her some other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we should. Is that his teeth thing?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Show her some FMW death matches.
Oh,
Jesus.
and also we have to relive Charlotte Flair returning
Oh,
to
of
the
course.
WWE.
It's a great time to be alive, man. Happy New Year to y'all. I got another year
Happy
older.
New Year.
I feel older than I am.
A year older.
This is great, man. You know, I got a call from Roman last night.
Oh, really?
I was at the dojo last night. You know, shout out to Jacob, Journey, and them, and all them. And Jacob was like, "Hey, somebody want to talk to you." And I'm like, "Who is it?" And it's Roman on the face. I'm like, "Oh my God!" And he said, "I just want to take the time to acknowledge you." I said, "Oh, really? Me?"
So did he tell you that you got to handle Sammy?
Look, Phillip Mone is gonna take care of Sammy. That's another name for the list. But enough of the chit chat. We got a lot of things to talk about, y'all. A lot has happened, and we're only 5 days into the new year. A lot has gone down. The biggest thing, Sasha Banks has officially parted ways with WWE. The rumors have been going crazy, and January 3rd, like late afternoon here. You know, the tweets are going up. Thank you to Triple H and William Regal and WWE and Vince McMahon. Thank you, Sasha Banks, from Mercedes Mone's Twitter account. And we're like, oh, she's really done. Okay. All right. And then Wrestle Kingdom happens after Kairi Sane retains the IWGP Women's Championship. The lights go out and Mercedes Mone makes her debut. She looked great. She looked like a star. They have an encounter. She holds up the woman's title, says she's going to come after Kairi at Battle of the Valley out here in San Jose next month. So we got to attend that first of all. Yes, sir. Kevin Kelly said it's the worst kept secret in the business. So let's start off with Katie because we have a short time with her today. What are your thoughts on Sasha Banks officially being done in WWE and then her moving on to becoming the CEO, Mercedes Mone?
Honestly, I think she did this in a very, very professional manner. She kept things open communication-wise with WWE, and she could have signed a contract with AEW, which would have been kind of a slap in the face to WWE if she wanted to, but instead she went to New Japan, and that's fantastic. I think that it's a great place for her to really hone her skills as what is she? She'd be technically a cruiserweight, right?
I mean, just hone her skills as
just hone her skills as a wrestler and general. But I think she handled it really professionally, and I'm really proud of her debut. She looked amazing. Very excited for Mercedes Mone.
Brandon.
Well, as the resident New Japan guy on the podcast, what you know may or may not get a Wrestle Kingdom review in soon. I am excited to see what Mercedes Mone does in Stardom, in New Japan, possibly wherever else she goes. I thought the match itself with Kyrie was quick, but it was a fun match. Once again, I keep banging the drum for Stardom. It's a great promotion. They do great stuff over there. And, the production value, the look, everything, it was fantastic. Now, the move she hit on Kyrie was a bit botched, but if you see like videos of how it's supposed to be done, and she's actually done it in training in Mexico, it looks fantastic if it's pulled off. But a little kind of sucks that she wasn't able to do that. Maybe Kyrie a little tired, didn't know exactly how to take it, but I'm excited to see what Mercedes can do. And like you said, like I had no intentions of going to that San Jose show, but now that this match is announced, I mean, I definitely got to go now. And Katie said it might have been a slap in the face for her not to sign with AEW. Who knows? Saraya has a partner. Wouldn't be shocked if that partner might get attacked and she has to find a new one.
Absolutely. Brian.
So it's bittersweet. I know I've had some very harsh things to say about Sasha Banks on this podcast.
Yeah, you just went for her, bro. I'm like, dang, bro.
I did, but you know what? In all honesty, it was bittersweet because it's like, oh my gosh, like I thought, she was WWE, she carried that logo, that brand, that flag for a while now, and I thought she was for sure going to be one of those lifers, right? She was part of that new era to usher in a new revolution in terms of the women's division. But I'm happy for her. I know that this is a dream of hers to wrestle in Japan, let alone the Tokyo Dome at the biggest of the biggest Wrestle Kingdom, right? So that was cool to see. I love the look. I love the hair. I love the attitude. I'm excited for her. And yeah, I think I might have to take a trip up to San Jose too. You know what I'm saying? I might have to come out for that one. Wearing my Charlotte Flair t-shirt, of course.
Oh, of course. No, yeah, man, like so people, when in May when her and Naomi walked out, and shout out Naomi and Bailey for being there to support her. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They were
and
like
Kalisto.
Yeah, Kalisto. They were like, oh, they deserve better. Sasha's so great, blah, 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 blah. And then she's made her debut, and they're like, oh, Botched Banks is back. And they're just going after her on Twitter. And I saw somebody was like, oh, her hair inspiration was from this. And there was like a picture of like molded cheese. I'm like, dang, why y'all coming for her like this, bro?
Yikes.
For real. Like, look, in this lifetime, everyone has dreams. There are millions of people in the world. We all have dreams. A very select few people get to manifest their dreams. She had two dreams. She said it on the Stone Cold podcast. One was WWE. They came calling first. She accomplished that. Now she wants to go achieve dreams in Japan. She'll be back, guys. She'll be back.
Did you guys hear about the alleged report that WWE believes that she's not going to wrestle for AEW and that she'll be back when she's done with her New Japan run?
I haven't heard that. I don't know about that. But I do believe she will be back in WWE. Because let's say she wants to wrestle at WrestleMania again, obviously.
Of course.
Like once you've done that, then you can't just like be like, oh, I don't want to do that ever again.
Not just wrestle at WrestleMania, but win at WrestleMania also.
Yeah. For real.
I see Sasha Banks similar to like Dana Bryan, to where she just wants to wrestle and just do whatever, and she can go to Japan and Mexico and do all these different things. And at the end of the day, I could see her just like Bryan coming back to WWE,
coming back, getting a quick title run, yada yada yada, same thing. But hey, I'm happy for her. Now this is the real work. Like people have left WWE, and the only like real big success story obviously is Cody Rhodes, who left, became an even bigger star, and then went back. Sasha was a very big star in WWE. Now that she's left, can she become an even bigger star, raise her stock even more, and then go back to the company and get that money that she was apparently requesting when all those reports were going out about it was a money issue. This is the test. Let's see what she can do.
Yep.
For real. but not for real. Mercedes Mone, I'm happy for her. Like, let her do the damn thing, and I will be in San Jose to watch her win that IWGP Women's Championship. You can believe that. Let's talk about this Ric Flair documentary that was on Peacock. Um, there have been other there have been other Ric Flair documentaries, the 30 for 30 and others. This is the best one. You get, it's 2 hours and you like get through like his life, you get through his career. Like this was fantastic. I mean, like I knew Ric Flair was an orphan. I didn't know he was sold on the black market.
Right.
And then just like you find out that he finds out he has a brother and he doesn't want anything to do with him because he doesn't have any questions and all this other. And then obviously we get to the plane crash. I didn't know he was struck by lightning. I didn't know that. And
he wasn't struck by lightning. The guy behind him was struck by lightning.
Okay,
but if he had been holding his umbrella still, he would have been struck by lightning.
Got you. I kind of stopped paying attention to that part. My bad. And then obviously we get into the health scare that he had back in 2017, where he had like kidney failure, just a whole bunch of like serious diseases going on and failures at the same time. The fact that this dude is still alive,
alive, still partying it up like Ric Flair does, still, being his Ric Flair self, drinking, women, all of the things. He is who he is.
Yeah, because I mean, the world knows Ric Flair, but we got to really know Richard Flair. And yes. Flair is one of those people who, the character took over the man. They blended so well together. You're like, I mean, it's happened to so many guys. Like Terry Bollea doesn't exist because Hulk Hogan is the whole person. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Katie, what are your real thoughts about this documentary?
I mean, I thought it was spectacular. I watched it yesterday while I was working from home, and it was absolutely incredible. Getting to hear more about his life and his journey to becoming Ric Flair and, becoming the superstar that he is was fascinating. I had no idea that he had been adopted, and I didn't really know his beginnings, his, wrestling beginnings. I love that he wanted to be called, what was it? Randy Rick Rhodes or something like that.
Rambling Randy Rhodes.
Ramblin' Rick Rhodes.
Yeah.
And he was just told, no, you have an amazing name, Ric Flair. Like, you should be called Ric Flair. He's just, he's a phenomenal talent, and he deserves so many more accolades than he's received so far, I believe.
Brian.
Yeah, it was that's the queen, daddy, so it was, I had to watch. But it was a good doc. One thing that really, I've heard so many stories about Rick. One thing that was really sad about this whole thing was Reed's story, right? And I don't know where the hell I've been, but I didn't know that Reed was actually like wrestling in Japan like that. I didn't know that. I thought he just was like trying to get his foot in the business and really, just trying to like train to become a wrestler. And then he passed. And then that's when Charlotte kind of took off. I didn't know that he was actually wrestling, so that was a surprise to me. And it's really, really sad. And, going back to the retirement match with Shawn Michaels, them going in depth, showing the backstage footage, and Flair talking about how Shawn told him, "Hey, just go out there and do what I say," right? And him saying that no one's ever told him that before. It was a really great match, and then kind of just reliving the whole run, like after WCW I went down and he came back to WWE, and when you're young and you're watching it on TV, you just kind of watching, you're not really understanding. But like when they were showing those moments of him having all these matches, 5, 6, 7 years, it's just like, whoa, he really had a lot more left in him. And it kind of makes you think like, dang, like how many other wrestlers, right, do we write off nowadays because like, oh, they're old or oh, they're this or oh, they're that. Like Flair he wasn't like super old, but he was old doing that stuff, becoming Intercontinental Champion, tag team champion.
It's
right?
crazy.
Like, that's crazy.
It's crazy. Like, you know, Brendan and I were around the same age. Like, we grew up with that Ric Flair.
Yeah.
You know, the evolution to the Shawn match at Mania 24. That's the Flair I grew up with, which is crazy. You know, given all these generations, like I can still say, oh yeah, I grew up watching Ric Flair. I'm able to say that, which is crazy. But yeah, the Reed stuff, man. I wonder how different it would have been, like if Reed had, you know, kind of cleaned up and gotten his act together, like how he would have fared. You know, would Charlotte be? Would she have really gotten into the business? That's a thing. You know, that's one of the things, like the what ifs. You know, Brandon, what are your thoughts on the Flair doc?
So I hate to be that guy, but I did not like the Flair documentary. I thought it was just like the standard WWE whitewashing of just wrestling, and they tell their story. I will say the very beginning of, like, you know, learning about Ric Flair's adopted past was interesting because that was relatively new, so we didn't know about that stuff. But kind of everything else, I would point more towards the ESPN 30 for 30 documentary. I think they did a better job at kind of more introspective and actually like looking at Ric Flair's life and kind of questioning, you know, was it worth it and everything like that. Because like even like throughout the documentary, it's just like, oh, you know, that's Rick. That's what he does. He gets sent to rehab, and he even just like was happy about telling the story that he just walked out of rehab, went across the street to a bar and had a drink, and just like, who cares about rehab? And then, you know, the Reed stuff, like, it's really sad. And, you know, it's kind of a tough thing to talk about, but like Rick, like, smothered Reed and was like just over, like, just loved him and just like had him drinking at a young age and had him like partying with him. And Rick kind of makes it seem like he had no idea this could have happened, when, like, if you kind of look at it, I'm not saying it's Rick's fault, obviously, but like he did have some sort of thing to go with it. And like they focus heavily on the in-ring stuff with the WWF, when like they just will breeze past the 80s and the 70s, just be like, oh, you know, Ric Flair did the Four Horsemen, and that's pretty much it, when there's so much other stuff you can dive into when they talk more about like the Royal Rumble stuff, which is fun, and the Evolution stuff. But then like Bruce Pritchard saying like, oh, the WWF fans of the 90s didn't know who Ric Flair was. Like, really, just shut up. That's
crazy.
Not the case. That's just WWE trying to put themselves over.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know about all of that. Katie is no longer with us. She's still alive, but
T's and P's to her laptop.
T's and P's.
No, she was so angry that I had to bury the Ric Flair doc. She just quit the podcast. She couldn't take it. I'm sorry.
Now, if we ever meet Ric Flair, you can't be there now.
I mean, I've met Ric Flair.
I'm talking.
Brian, I will say I had a much better time meeting Charlotte than I did meeting Rick.
Yes.
Nice.
I mean, like if we ever like, you know, get the chance to, you know, sit down with the Nate, you can't be there now because you buried the dog. I don't need this to come back and bite us. I'm gonna have to grab Brian. You know, the Queen will probably be with him.
Yes. Brendan, so are you basically saying that you feel like WWE kind of glorified all of the, like, they talked about some good, but then they just kind of glorified all the bad?
Pretty much. And like the 30 for 30 doc, like this one was right after he had his health scare. So at that time, he was true when he said like he wasn't going to drink and he was going to change his ways. And now we're in 2022 and he's just back to a same old Ric Flair again. And like, we're not going to question that. Like, the man almost died because of his 40 years of drinking and stuff. And there's no like remorse or no thinking of changing after that.
Yeah. I kind of caught that too at the end, when they kind of just went,
and they didn't even talk, and they're like, oh, his Shawn Michaels retirement match, that was the end. We're not going to talk about the TNA stuff. And then they just, obviously it's late, so you can't just like go into detail about the Ric Flair last match stuff, but it's like, oh yeah, and then he had another match, and then another match, and he said he's not going to retire.
Well, I thought that's why I thought they were going to show that, because I thought that there was WWE camera crew there at his last match. So I'm waiting on it. I'm like, oh, okay, guess not. All right.
Well, I mean, so with all of that, like I've said this before, we said goodbye to Ric Flair's career when all that happened back in 08. Like it's the career is over. Now, if you come back and have a game or two, okay, you know.
I mean, TNA was not a game or two.
No,
Shawn Michaels had a match.
I'm talking. How many matches did he actually have in TNA? He had the Hogan match. He had a Jay Lethal match, and he had a
match with
Sting
Rick,
match.
he had a match with Mick Foley.
Okay, so we had 4 matches in TNA.
Let's just check it on the cage match. See what kind of matches we got going on here.
And that Hogan match was a tag match, right?
No, they did a singles match in Australia. They did a singles match when the Hogan did a retirement tour in 09.
I hate to burst your bubble. There's way more than just 4 matches on here. So let's see. Since the Shawn Michaels match, he had a match at Hulkamania Let the Battle Begin tour. We're just gonna breeze past those. Let's say we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 matches.
Wow.
So, like I said, we said goodbye to the Ric Flair career. We said goodbye. If people come back and do it, hey, whatever. Like Mick Foley, we said goodbye to his career when he retired in 2000. But yet he's come back and just had quite a few games. You know, it is what it is. We've all made our peace with the career of Ric Flair. It's fine. Those matches don't diminish what he did in the 80s. Now, does it? No, it doesn't at all. So who really cares? Who gives a shit?
No swearing.
Who cares? You know? Does Mick Foley having a hardcore match with Randy Orton in 04 diminish what he did in Japan? No. So who cares? Who cares?
He was great in that hardcore match, though.
I know, he can barely move. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Adrenaline's a hell of a drug. Oh, man. Oh, Jesus.
Adrenaline
in my soul. Something, Cody Rhodes. So there's been a debate recently. Who is the better actor? Is it Dwayne The Rock Johnson? Is it John Cena? Or is it Dave Bautista? What do you guys think?
I thought
Batista. It's not even close.
I thought this whole time it was like out of Rock and John Cena. I didn't know that Batista was even like. Does he have movies like that? Because I know
doesn't play the same character all the time. That's basically what people are saying.
I know he's got the Guardians of the Galaxy, right? He's got Drax, but I haven't really seen too many Batista movies, I guess. He's done
multiple different variations of roles. He's done a little comedy. He's done some real serious dramatic stuff.
He's in the new Knives Out movie, which I got to watch on Netflix, which I heard is great.
Yeah, because Rock, he'll kind of do the same.
He just plays The Rock. He's
action.
just The Rock.
Well, in this recent movie, he played Black Adam.
Oh,
did you see Black Adam?
I did see Black Adam.
Was it good?
It should have ended at a certain point. I will say that. It went on for 30 more minutes too long. I will say that.
That's pretty much every superhero movie.
No. The Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans were the right length of time.
Yeah.
Those other Spider-Mans,
those were special.
I don't know what they were doing. Even Ben Affleck's Daredevil.
Hero can save us. I'm not gonna stand here and wait.
But yeah, even Ben Affleck's Daredevil, perfect. You know what I'm saying? The Michael Keaton Batman's perfect. It's just the superhero movies of today. We're like, all right, this needs to end. That's all it is. That's all it really is. But yeah, I mean, and then Cena, he's done some serious stuff, but he'll do the comedy. He's done the didn't you go see that Cock Blockers movie?
Yeah, that was actually John Cena's really good at the musclehead guy who you think is serious, but is comedic. So I mean, that's what Peacemaker is kind of too. He's serious, but then also there's comedic elements to it. He hasn't had a full-fledged super serious role, which I think is what sets Batista apart from everybody else.
No, he has. Legendary. Did you ever see that movie Legendary?
I'm talking about at a higher level.
Oh, I mean, there's a serious role, was it not? Was it not?
I mean, no shots at The Rock, but The Rock is the biggest action star going today, but that's just a certain type of movie, and he's not going to win any Oscars doing that. I wouldn't be shocked if Batista wins a supporting actor Oscar or something.
Does the Rock need to win an Oscar?
I'm not saying he needs to win an Oscar. You see how much money he's drawing? He don't need an Oscar.
He doesn't.
Okay, let me tell you. 12 Rounds was a good movie. I had to look it up because I forgot the name of it. But 12 Rounds was really good.
12 Rounds was a good movie. The Marine, obviously, was very great. They made so many more just without John Cena. But even Batista did an interview recently, and he was like, I didn't want to be compared to The Rock. I wanted to be a good, respected actor. I was like, oh, Dave.
Come on, Batista.
So Batista versus Rock at WrestleMania.
That is a little bit of a shot at The Rock, but I mean, it's just comparing another wrestler to another wrestler. He doesn't want to.
So Batista versus Rock at
like
WrestleMania.
Yep.
It's in Hollywood, brother.
Book
after Roman beats him.
Triple H is the special guest referee.
Yes, that makes sense.
And Ric Flair's just hanging around.
Flair goes down to the ring with Dave like it's 04 in Evolution.
And then Randy Orton comes out. They can do it like they did Sting and Triple H and just have a bunch
then the
of people from
bloodline
their past
comes and
out.
Evolution is there. Yes. Oh, we thought of something great. Oh,
that would be crazy.
Flair staring off with Sammy, giving him the chops in the corner.
Hey, you know Sammy would sell the hell out of that too.
And then he gets a Samoan spike from Solo. Actually, no. The Usos double super kick him and he does the front bump. Oh, man. Speaking of John Cena returned. Oh, man. He returned on SmackDown with Kevin Owens. They defeated Roman and Sami Zayn. It was Sammy's fault that we got pinned. So what are our thoughts on Big John coming back?
Got a big rating, right? What was it, 2.8?
Oh, of course.
Something like that.
I mean, you couldn't watch an NFL game without them plastering John Cena all over it. So they were going big on the marketing.
Bro, is it just me or did you guys hear the ref yelling the time?
Yes.
You could hear John Cena calling the entire match from the apron.
Yep.
I didn't hear that.
That last sequence was like, stay down. And then Jess was like, stay down. Okay.
I really heard her calling the time. I was like,
slow, tag. Like, it was like Cena's bad at that stuff. That might have been his worst ever.
Now, did you think he did that on purpose, or do you think?
I think he gets wrapped up in the moment, and I said, like, he's always been like that. He's always called spots like really loudly, and if you're calling a spot from the apron into the ring, I mean, we're gonna pick it up. We're gonna hear that.
That's true, especially when they cut to the camera angle right next to him too. Like, that's crazy.
I was like, oh no, this is not how we're supposed to do this.
Is it now? Let me ask you guys something. Is it weird that they only had Cena go like what? Like, he only did like his moves and that was it. He didn't really take many bumps. He didn't really get much offense in. He just
that Peacemaker season 2's got to be finished.
That's truth, man.
We can't have a Rock WrestleMania 29 situation.
That is true. Oh my bro, Rock got injured early in that match and wrestled for like 25 minutes. It's crazy.
They got him second guessing every comeback now.
Man. So Cena versus Rhodes or Cena versus Paul? What are we getting, boys?
Well, everyone's saying Cena versus Theory. That's what their people are thinking.
Yeah, apparently, before Vince left, the plan allegedly was Rhodes versus Cena, which I'm down for that. They can tell a nice story. That's easy. Now the Paul rumor, I'm like, okay, but what story are we telling?
Punk chump kid calling him out. You know,
I feel like we need more than that. I need some drama on the red carpet. You know what I mean?
Logan Paul's in trouble with some crypto stuff. That's fun.
There could be drama. I mean, there wasn't much to Roman and Logan Paul either, and we still got a great match out of it.
Oh no, he was on the podcast.
Yeah,
maybe that's what we need to do again.
But Logan called Cena out though. He said he wanted to wrestle Cena. He did say that.
This is true.
So I feel like big movie star versus big YouTuber. You know how many clicks that's gonna get? Although I will say I wouldn't be mad. I did initially want John Cena versus Austin Theory because I am a Theory guy, and I feel like Theory just needs that one little next step, almost like Orton versus Mick Foley, right? Put away the legend, put away the old timer,
Put him through a flaming table.
Yeah, put him through a flaming table. You know, I don't know. The Cody Rhodes thing that's a miss for me. I only because I feel like Cody should win the Rumble and he should be fighting for the championship.
Bro, I could see Cena being like, "Well, do you feel elite now?" And I could see him doing some little shit like that. I could see that happening.
Your father and my father. You know we got to get a promo like that. Your legacy and my.
What is your legacy, John? My legacy is I can see it happening, bro. Oh man.
Oh.
Oh man.
Yep.
You could be like, you call spots so loud it's more noticeable than your bald spot. You know, you just do some.
He's preparing for a role.
Now that sounds like something Logan Paul would say.
No, that's an Austin theory line. That's a theory line, bro.
You're right. That's a theory line. You're right.
Gotta save that for theory.
I was gonna say I felt kind of uncomfortable when Logan was like, "You Samoans."
I was like, "Oh, don't do that. You don't want the Samoans after you, bro.
Relax, dog."
like Polys, that's the one race you do not want to fight, because when you fight one, you fighting 25 of them. You don't want to do that. Charlotte Flair came back and won the SmackDown Women's Championship. The Queen came back. It wasn't working with Ronda, so we had to do it with Flair real quick. 14 times.
That's right.
The world's champion.
Triple H had to call an audible. He saw them reports. Excuse me.
You know what it sounded like, right? Hey, Ash, it's not working out with Ronda. When are you able to come back? That's what it was going on.
She said, "Okay."
He was like, "All right, we can do this." Now, I know.
Did you hear that crowd?
Did you hear the ovation? I watched the fan footage. That was real, goddamn. That was real emotion, and I loved it. So, Brandon, what are your thoughts on your favorite wrestler, Charlotte Flair?
My favorite wrestler, Charlotte Flair.
Been doing
it was definitely just kind of out of nowhere. As the rumors are speculating that kind of WrestleMania's up in the air. We don't know what's going on. I did think Ronda was working better as a heel. I mean, she's always worked better as a heel, but this 2022 was not exactly Ronda Rousey's year. And so, getting Charlotte out there, just pulling the old Loki doke and having her win the title. Like, okay, I never want to over speculate on after the first night, just see where it goes from here. I mean, are we going to get like, where is Becky? Like, if it was going to be Becky and Ronda, is it like Becky Charlotte now? Is it like, I don't know, because on the women's side on SmackDown, it's not very strong. I mean, it's like Raquel Gonzalez, Rodriguez, whatever the hell her name is now, and like Charlotte and Ronda. Like everybody else is just kind of there on the SmackDown women's side.
I feel like Triple H this is a perfect opportunity because everybody should be wanting to go after someone like Charlotte Flair, right? One of the 4 horsewomen. Okay. I feel like this is an opportunity. This is what I think. I think that after WrestleMania, it's going to be a hard reset button. I think that's what Triple H is doing. He's lining the troops up. He's lining everybody up. He's bringing everybody he wants back. And we're going to get a solid division. Okay. That's going to be able to compete and make a name for themselves and establish maybe a new 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8, 9, or 10 horsewomen.
Zoe Stark is going to challenge Charlotte Flair. I'm calling it right now.
That's right. Zoe Stark. We forgot. No, listen, we forgot about NXT. The amount of women they can call up and help. I mean, Tamina, Dana Brooke, Natty. I'm sorry, but they gonna have to fizzle out. It's time for you
don't fizzle out Natty and Tamina because they have the legacy factor.
Okay. Well, you know what I mean. Like, not necessarily fizzle them out, but like they'll still be there to help get the other girls over and have like those wrestling matches.
Oh yeah.
Right. But for the Tegan Knoxes and the Liv Morgans and Raquel Rodriguez's and even a Toxic Attraction, Zoe Stark, Cora Jade, Indy Hartwell, where they end up on Raw or SmackDown, and I'm sure we'll get a draft right after WrestleMania. I know that's what's rumored. People are going to be moving around, so the SmackDown Women's Division ain't even probably going to look like this, in like 3 or 4 months. So it's going to be better. And Charlotte going to be at the top. She's going to be looking down at the peasants.
She is going to be looking down at the peasants, and I love it.
Yes.
Yep. There was a pitch black match announced. Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight in a Mountain Dew pitch black match. Look, I will say this. As long as it's not the Firefly Funhouse, as long as it's not the zombie thing.
Hey, don't hate on the Firefly Funhouse match. I still defend that match.
Oh, not the Firefly Funhouse. No, what was I saying? What's that? What was that match, bro? What was that match? You know what I'm talking about.
An Inferno match where you literally light someone on fire?
No. The match that him and Randy had. What was that match?
House of Horrors?
House of Horrors. I'm not the Firefly Funhouse. The House of Horrors.
Horrors.
OG Bray.
As long as it's not the House of Horrors, as long as it's not the zombie thing. Firefly Funhouse, that's the best, like, kooky thing Bray's ever done in the company. We can say that with a fact. Firefly Funhouse was amazing. It was a great cinematic masterpiece. But as long as it's not House of Horrors or anything else, then it should be fine.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think LA Knight has been like playing it about as good as he can, because you're kind of put in this impossible situation where he's a regular wrestler thrown into this spooky Bray Wyatt world, and he's not like the Seth Rollins where he's just super scared and is like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, I'm frozen in fear, but yet he's also like skeptical and kind of weirded out, but also like intrigued a little bit. So I think LA Knight's been playing this great, and I know people are complaining that's going by too slow, but I mean, that's kind of how Triple H's booking goes. It's kind of slow to a crawl sometimes, and I think with this Bray Wyatt story, it's gonna like really culminate, closer to WrestleMania than anything.
Yeah, Uncle Howdy showed up. We got a little kind of better look at him.
Mm-hmm.
He hit Bray with his sister Abigail. LA Knight got out of the ring and was like, yeah.
I love the Bray Wyatt stuff. I love the pitch black match, the Mountain Dew pitch black match idea. I do think that LA Knight has been doing a phenomenal job. He doesn't look like a chump. He's stepping up to the plate. He's the one who even challenged Bray Wyatt to a match, not the pitch black match, but he's the one who challenged him to a match. So that's already a good sign for a guy like LA Knight.
Do you think this deal was already the pitch black deal was already kind of in place when Vince was there? Pitch black.
Who would have done it though if Bray never came back? Who would have been in the pitch black match?
Somebody.
Karrion Kross. Oh no, he was gone too.
I don't know, bro. I have no idea.
I do think LA Knight needs to win though.
Yeah.
I feel like he has more to gain and more to lose than Bray. Bray Wyatt loses, because I truly feel like Bray Wyatt, his purpose is to kind of help tell a story. I do think he's not the only one involved. I do think Bo Dallas is involved. I think Vincent and Dutch have something to do with this story as well. If you notice, and they could be doing it to gain some momentum for whatever they got going on, since everyone's speculating it's them anyways. But every time Bray Wyatt's got something going on TV, they usually send out a tweet or two,
Yeah. So
here and there.
We shall see. I do want to mention this. We didn't get a chance to talk about it on the casties because it happened after that was recorded and out. But pro wrestling commentator Don West passed away in the last couple of days of the year. Don West was an integral part of TNA in those formative years, where guys like AJ Styles and James Storm and Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin making a name for themselves. And I just remember and hearing Don West call all those great matches and all those big moments. R.I.P. to Don West, man. The guy that used to sell baseball cards on QVC and sold them with his life. Sold them like, you must buy this, as if it's the last thing you will ever buy. He came into pro wrestling and he killed it, man. Thoughts on Don West? Brennan.
Yeah, I mean it's a sad story. We kind of heard that he was battling, I think it was cancer, so he's been sick for a while. And as you said, like he was just the ultimate pitch man, like kind of carny in a way. Comes into wrestling, didn't really know too much outside of like, his childhood wrestling stuff. And I mean, God bless him. He would sell that like crappy TNA stuff, like it was going out of style. And he did it with a wink and a nod, and it wasn't like overly carny. Like he had like a passion, and he kind of had a little twinkle in his eye doing it. And like, the early days of TNA, yeah, it sucks. And he just, everything, all the stories are just like, he's a good guy. And it just sucks that he's gone.
Brian.
Yeah, he was great. I was more of a Mike Tenay guy.
Yeah, from WCW, yeah.
Just from WCW. But Don West definitely had that voice, and he brought that energy. So it's really, really sad, especially when you see guys like Shivani, getting back in the in the scene and in the business, and he's full-time commentator again. It's just like, man, it would be nice to have a voice like that still. I don't know how old he was, but
yeah, I think it was like 59 or something, 60s.
Okay.
Also, like Don West he was at the Starcast in Vegas, and he was just like slinging the merch, and he still would be doing that stuff, and it was just like
he was there.
Yeah, I believe he was at the Starcast, and he was just like at the merch stand. He was just like yelling and doing the carny, just saying, "Hey, everyone, come in and buy some stuff," because it was like right by where we'd meet people. And he was a great guy. Like he would like not just be selling stuff, he'd be like talking to people and just taking photos, and he seemed like a good guy.
Damn, I wish I could have met him. Yeah, man. I mean, bro, you've heard me do a little bit live commentary when I'm just like yelling in the microphone. I took that from Don West. just yelling at the top of your lungs. Oh man, RIP Don West, man. Thank you so much for your contributions to this business. For real, for real. Outside of the ring, Dragon Lee signed with WWE. He announced it in Mexico. Dragon Lee, 3-time King of Indies winner. He won it most recently this past year in 2022. Yeah. Hey man, the Bay, they do things, man. Like he won the King of Indies out here. Now he's back with WWE. Mia Yim appeared at Full Queer. Now she's back in WWE. The Bay's done great things, man. We do great things here. Yes.
You think they'll change his name?
I don't know. He's only 27. I found out. I was like, wow, he's pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize he was that young. I don't know, but hey, Match's about to be fire. Could he? No, will he finally? Because I know Vince for the longest time was chasing like that next Latin star. Like, Eddie had passed away. Ray, he left the company for a long period of time. So, I mean, he tried with Del Rio, tried with Kalisto. I mean, they have Santos Escobar, who I think is the answer. But do you think Dragon Lee will be like that? They tried to sing. I forgot Sin Cara existed. Do you think Dragon Lee will be the answer finally?
I mean, I think Dragon Lee's super talented. I mean, I've seen him at New Japan, seen him at the indie stuff around here, and every time he's just outperformed, and he's just done fantastic. And WWE's always try to find that next Mexican luchador star since Ray. It hasn't panned out. I mean, if you're gonna just compare him one of one, I think he might be the closest to Ray. Just kind of that underdog fighting spirit. Now he needs to, be given the ball and for him to run with it. And with Triple H at the helm, I think he can. But also he, has that reckless, kind of tossing caution to the wind type style. And that's not going to fly in WWE. Like maybe it'll fly in NXT while, they're kind of building back the black and gold type style. But once you go to WWE, you can't be dropping people on their heads. And I know that was more like just a him and Hiromu type matches, but I mean, it only takes a couple instances where they like really can handcuff him, just say, you can't do what you do. And like we see with Ricochet, like Ricochet was, when he was given the ball these past couple months, he's been fantastic. But just those early years when Vince was there and they weren't doing much with him, he, couldn't really be the top flippy flop guy that I think a lot of people thought he could be.
Yeah, I mean, there is a certain WWE style that I know people do harp on it, but I mean, like, even because I remember, like, I think Finn Balor, like, he did an interview and he voiced, like, his frustrations, like, when he got to the Performance Center and dealing with WWE and their style. But he realized, like, it helped him last this long. It's helped him have a longer career because he said, like, if he was still in Japan, he probably wouldn't have made it this long. So, I mean, yeah, man. Brian, do you have any thoughts on Dragon Lee?
Yeah, I mean, he's a big dude. I'm excited for him. So correct me if I'm wrong. His tag partner, right? Was it Jalistico?
Jalistico.
Is that
It's the second Sin Cara after Mystico
Okay.
left Mexico. So then he was Mexico, but then Sin Cara came back to be Mystico. So then he wasn't Mystico. And it's very confusing.
So I
Okay.
found out there were three because Jalistico, he was at the King of Indies. He was in the King of Indies. So Mystico was the first one. And then there was Jalistico or whatever this guy's name is. And then there was Hunico from
Hunico was WWE's fake version of the Sin Cara.
But then he took on the character.
Yeah.
On a regular bit. I think he was like when Kalisto was a tag team with Sin Cara, that's Hunico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
so there had
tattoo.
been two prior. So that was interesting.
Very
I don't think Dragon Lee is going to be Sin Cara.
No, I'm just saying. Moving on from that, Money in the Bank, it was announced earlier today. It's going to be at the O2 Arena July 1st. Hey man, the UK is getting another pay-per-view. That's awesome for them. Money in the Bank, it's an exciting time and it's an exciting match. So now the rumors of will it be at WrestleMania have kind of been laid to bed now with that. Thoughts on Money in the Bank, the O2 Arena? Quick.
Money in the Bank needs that type of energy. The London crowd, O2 Arena. I think that's a fantastic decision to kind of reestablish, especially under Triple H's, vision and plans now, his booking, to kind of reestablish it to being what it was supposed to be and what we've all known it to be is to kind of, get a new fresh champion. Money in the Bank was always all right, guaranteed this person's going to be champion, guaranteed, right? Almost every time. So
yeah, we need to get back to that. Brandon.
I'm excited. Money in the Bank has kind of turned into WWE's like third biggest pay-per-view of the year. And, we saw what happened at Clash of the Castle. The crowd was super hot and packing them tighter into an arena. I think the atmosphere is going to be electric. So I cannot wait. I'm happy there are UK international type pay-per-views besides Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yes, of course. Inside the ring, AJ Styles broke his ankle at a live event. He doesn't need surgery, but he's going to be on the shelf for about 4 to 6 weeks. So obviously missing the Rumble. That's unfortunate, but hey, get well soon, man.
Yeah, T's and P's. Sucks just one less body to be in the Rumble. He probably going to do something, but
yeah. I broke my ankle, man. I understand your pain. I understand.
His doesn't require surgery, right?
No, his doesn't. Mine does.
Can we get an ankle cert? Can we get an ankle update, Phillip?
I'm get cut open tomorrow. Can't walk or can't put pressure on it for 8 weeks, and then physical activity in another 3 months.
Okay.
So what, you get put in a boot?
Splint.
Okay. They putting rods in your ankle?
Well, see, we're about to get. Oh my God, people are about to know my business. Here we go.
People need to know your business. We're a transparent podcast.
Yes. And when I broke my ankle, I broke my fibia and tore a whole bunch of tendons in there. My fibia healed, but it's shorter than my left ankle, so they're gonna have to cut me open, re-break my stuff, and then
you're gonna be taller.
Align it to where
I should break my ankle.
My fibia will be the same height and width as my left one.
Yeah. And they're just dissecting you like you're a frog in biology class.
I know they're gonna cut me on one side of the ankle, then cut me on the other side. About 3 to 4 hours is the surgery. I'm really scared. I don't want to wake up during it. Like that's like my fear. Like I've never had.
They're not going to do that. I never had surgery, but there's a state where you kind of wake up, but you're not actually awake, and there's going to be the person there that'll just pump you with more drugs. You'll be fine.
I hope not, bro. I really hope not.
But luckily that it doesn't have to happen to AJ Styles.
Yes. That doesn't have to happen to AJ Styles. Moving on from that, Josh Alexander has become the longest reigning Impact World Champion of all time. He liked Brian's tweet. I saw that.
He did. Shout out to Josh Alexander.
Josh Alexander. I bought him a Red Bull once. We chopped it up. Great guy. Yeah, man, I am happy for him. Bobby Roode held that record as longest reigning TNA champion for like 10 years, which is actually impressive because I thought somebody would have ended that. And he was only champion for like 8 months. Hilarious. And that just goes to show, like, how TNA does business, because like what you're used to, like guys be like real long reigns, like like obviously like what Roman's doing now for a couple years, and San Martino was champion for almost 10. So it's interesting like that company would just have somebody be champion for like 8 months and consider that the longest reign ever. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Josh Alexander. I mean, he's been doing great stuff over there at Impact. A little bit of a shame that Impact isn't exactly what he used to be, but longest title reign in history. It's not like he's a Jeff Jarrett type, or they're just kind of giving it to him because he's like buddies with the promoter or whatever. I think he's earned it. He definitely.
Well, Jeff Jarrett was the promoter.
Well, yeah, no.
Yeah. So congratulations to Josh Alexander. Shinsuke Nakamura returned to Japan and looked like an absolute star against the Great Muta. Sucked the mist out of his mouth and used it on him. First day of the year, already or we're not going to use that word. A Matt classic. Can we say that?
Yeah, we've retired that B word in 2022.
Yes. A very great match. Yes.
Thank you.
So,
Banga.
After. Banga.
I thought the match was fun. Also kind of pisses me off that Shinsuke still has that in him. I don't know if it's just a Japan thing to where he can only be that type of Shinsuke in Japan, but I mean, I guess we just have to come to terms with we're not going to see that Shinsuke in WWE. So at this point, let's just hope he goes back to New Japan.
I think we may, man. I think we may. We have our fan mail from the newest inductee into the Bullet Cast Hall of Fame, Mr. X, Hall of Famer X. Clap
Mr.
it up
X,
for him.
shout out.
Clap it up for him. Hey, no, seriously, X, I hope you hear this, bro. Thank you for all the work you've done for this show, man. For real. You're an asset to this brand. I'm serious, bro. Thank you so much for all you've done.
Emphasis on the ass.
Yeah, I didn't realize we've been working with him since 2019. I'm like, damn, it was like just yesterday. That's what's up, man. I love Mr. X, bro. For real. That's the dude. So he says, now that Mercedes Mone has arrived in New Japan, how big of an impact will she make on the international scene, and what are the odds she may appear at some point in AEW? Look, in wrestling, especially what everything that happened last year, never say never. We kind of really talked about like her impact and what she'll do, but for this to just sum it up, I'll say never, bro. And then we oh no, you had something?
I just say like I keep singing the praises of Stardom. I think if Sasha Banks goes to Stardom and wrestles there on a regular basis, it'll definitely shine a spotlight on what they're doing over there.
Absolutely. And then he says, I get that they had Okada win the title back to honor Inoki, but it seems like he has won the main event of Wrestle Kingdom for the last couple of years. As much as I enjoy the work of Kazuchika Okada, I think it's time to begin building up a new ace.
I agree, because I was watching Wrestle Kingdom yesterday, and I was just like going through all the main events, and I was like, oh, Okada, he won that one. Okada. There was that one year, like 3-4 years ago, where Naito should have beat Okada. It didn't happen.
Bro, when
mad.
I first got introduced to Tetsuya Naito, I was like, yo, this dude is dope. What did Naito have a match at Wrestle Kingdom?
Yeah.
Who did he wrestle?
I believe he wrestled Okada. Or this one, no, he was in the Great Muta 6-man tag.
Okay.
But it was fun, but
so Muta got a spot at the
Rumble? Shoot, they're really pushing Shooter Umino. I forget what the English commentators' names are outside of Kevin Kelly, but the nerd, the statistician, the translator guy said that he can see Shooter, possibly being the Wrestle Kingdom main event. And so we're seeing the newer era of wrestlers come up. So hopefully we do see somebody else.
Shooter, the heir apparent to Hiroshi Tanahashi, Mr. X says. So Great Muta, he popping up in the Rumble this year? I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, that'd be wild,
nice.
But
I'd be like, huh?
Would be nice.
And then him and Asuka have a mixed tag on Raw. The next round, they both spit mist in somebody. That'd actually be hilarious, bro.
Asuka, I thought, like we said earlier, Triple H likes to go take things slow, right? Like, she was going through like a character change, so hopefully we'll be seeing her.
She just pops up at the Rumble like with her like face paint on and stuff.
Kana's back.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, Asuka. That's what we'll call her. Let's get into the Raw recap. Theory retains the United States Championship. It appears Seth Rollins may have actually injured himself. It looked like in the aftermath. What? Oh, A-Town down?
A-Town down.
A-Town down, yeah. This was very good, man. You know, it's a great main event. I thought this was fun. Brian.
Yeah, it was great. Theory, once again, proven that he belongs and that he can go with the best of them. The one thing that I think I need to stop hearing is, them put emphasis on young and the now. I know that that's the story, but just let Theory be Theory and go out there and put on great matches and prove that he's a future world champion. See, this is now he a future world champion. He was a future champion before, right, when he was holding the briefcase, but now he really a future world champion. He just beat Seth Rollins in the main event, 1-on-1.
Yeah, Brandon.
I hope Seth is okay, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I really like the match. My inkling is there was a work of Seth just because, they were really playing up that he hurt his leg. So hopefully that is the case. I mean, yeah, I was down on Theory months ago and I've definitely turned the page. His matches are really good. And I agree. I don't know what the plans are for WrestleMania, whether it's a Cena, whether it's, a big time, another kind of big time US title match. But hopefully, I also been burying Seth a little bit. Maybe now that he's lost to Theory and kind of that storyline seemingly is over, that maybe we can get some sort of, evolution or character change.
We shall see. Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss match for the Raw Women's title ends in a DQ when, Alexa just loses it. There were people in mass popping up.
Hey, shout out the security guard who was doing his job and it wasn't smartened up.
Yeah. Yeah. The Bray graphic just kind of flashed multiple times, and then Alexa just lost it and attacked Bianca, and Montez came out and helped her. And I like how that kind of played into the next match. I did like that when it came time for Montez and the Profits and KO. I did like that. But with this whole thing, so what if Uncle Howdy has Alexa by his side, because Bray wants to be he wants to just be a regular person, but Uncle Howdy's like his inner demon. Yeah. What if he enlists the help of little Miss Bliss? Because Bray just left her high and dry, left her with a warped mind.
I'm glad you said that.
And she had to go through multiple hours of therapy to become somewhat normal, but maybe it wasn't enough given what she's been doing.
Maybe.
Basically,
I mean,
basically the flashes are like, what if it's PTSD? Now we're getting somewhere on this show.
Really, I don't know if I trust WWE to unpack, mental illness, but
Triple H is at the
new
helm.
era. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, but Brian, what are your thoughts on this?
The presentation has to be right. Didn't like that they did all this in the middle of the match. Like, I would have at least liked Bianca to pick up the win over Alexa, and then if they wanted to do a little shenanigans after, then I would have been fine with that. But they've either got to tell us that she's still connected to Bray for real, or they've got to start telling us that we're just using this to tell what's happening with Alexa next. Like, because at first it was just like, okay, they're faking fans out. Like, it's obviously a part of her past, and so that's what's, it's bugging her. But now with the masked people showing up, it kind of got me. It was like, I don't know now. I'm kind of confused. But, we'll see.
Maybe they can, I say do Alexa and Bianca at the Rumble. Give them a cool 15 minutes, let them work, and then Bianca's beats her, and then Alexa can move on to whatever this is.
I mean, we're finally getting Bray and Alexa on the same show at Royal Rumble, so I would assume we're going to get something.
Yeah. Because, I mean, what's Bianca doing at the Rumble? Nothing, really. Let the story play out a little bit longer.
When is the Royal Rumble? The very last week? So we got 3 more weeks to go?
I'd say just have Bianca skip Raw this coming Monday because of her chin gimmick or whatever. And then she shows up next week and challenges her to a match at the Rumble. And then you can build into that next week, and then that go home Raw, and then you have the match.
So what kind of match though?
Just a regular, straight up, regular contest.
Okay. You know what? You might be right. They did kind of have her beat her up in a way to where it would make sense why Bianca would challenge Alexa like to another match, right? Like
You've seen her chin, like it's stapled up for real. Like, yeah, like she got cut open. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus. After that, Solo Sikoa had a Music City street fight with Elias. Some country singer showed up. There was a guitar.
The third Hardy Boy.
Yeah. All in all, Solo he defeated Elias. Yes.
I wish we could have left these gimmicked street fights in the Vince McMahon era, but we have not. We had a Miracle on 34th Street fight. We get the Music City street fight. So I guess if Triple H wasn't allowed to change everything, this is the most offensive thing. So I guess we'll keep him.
Yeah, I mean it was violent. It was a good street fight. I mean, I think Solo's fingers were cut open. Like, it was.
Yeah, but when it's like a gimmick and it's like, oh, it's a Music City street fight, so we're just gonna have all these instruments around here. It's like, oh, isn't this fun? Yes. I don't think a street fight should be fun.
I think yes. I think
Solo. Did you never watch street fights as a kid? Like, oh man, that was entertaining. He got his butt whooped.
Yeah, but we're not. Well, I guess AEW kind of did the same thing with whipping people with Christmas trees and stuff. But that also takes a comedic element, which I don't like in street fights. Yeah.
Sometimes street fights can be funny. I've had a bunch of street fights that were hilarious.
I think Solo Sikoa is coming into I mean, he's been solid ever since he stepped foot on, the main roster, right? But he just got it. I didn't, it's not that I didn't think he had it on NXT. It was just, kind of weird, but like this no talking from him really makes him scarier. Right. When he was on NXT, basically trying to sell himself and sell the brand, right? Like 2.0 NXT, it was kind of weird. But now that he's on the main roster and he's like the enforcer for the bloodline and he's just winning match after match after match, not backing down, being scary.
Yeah, that's what because like obviously he's like we've seen him kind of embrace like traits of Umaga, with the paint. He does the Samoan spike. Why was Umaga scary? He didn't say nothing. He was wild. Mm-hmm. So, like, hey, that's fine,
My Samoan spike he delivered was devastating. And then that was the Uranagi on the
piano.
On the piano. That was nice.
The spinning solo, I think they call it.
Yeah. There was a lot of people getting hurt, cut open.
Yeah.
Beginning of Raw. So it was interesting.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Oh, hold on. Can I point something out real quick? The backstage altercation, like the backstage, like when everybody was like when the Profits were upset at the Bloodline when they did their NWO style hostile takeover and they were demanding a match with Adam Pearce, and we got to see even Elias be serious for a minute and be like, hey, I want Solo. You don't really get that. You don't really get Elias in the Vince era, at least. You didn't really get Elias challenging too many people, to a fight or a match.
Elias really had it easy. He just had to go out to the ring, sing a song, and trash the city.
That's right.
He was making good money, bro. For real. He'd show up to wherever, I don't like this city because your baseball team sucks. Go to the next town. Your football team sucks. Oh, your basketball team is trash.
Yeah. Oh man, money. Hilarious.
Oh man, God. Oh, that was hilarious. The Bloodline defeats KO and the Profits. Montez, my boy Montez looking beefy. You know what I found out what he's been doing, bro. Guess what?
Eating a lot of Samoan chicken breast.
He's been eating peanut butter and jelly. I was like, no.
Get those carbs.
I was like, no, that can't. PB&J's get you jacked. Stop.
A lot of carbs and get you bigger.
I'm in the wrong. I'm in the wrong game. I'm about to go eat some PB&J's, bro.
PB&J's are like the hidden, unwritten rule of athletes. I guess they'll eat them during half times and pre-games. Now it doesn't really work. Like I saw a video. Like actually, scientifically, it doesn't really do anything, but it's just what they do.
Now, what kind of jelly are you guys? Let's have a PB&J discussion real quick. What kind of jelly? Grape
jelly.
I am not particular, either grape or strawberry.
Okay. Now, people do like peanut butter and honey. Have you guys anybody done that? Like a PB and honey?
No. Peanut butter and banana sandwich.
No, of course.
I could do 5 all peanut butter sandwiches, both breads, 5 of them.
No, nothing to drink.
Nothing to drink.
You're crazy. No, you can't. Stop.
I can.
I'm gonna need, bro. I will come to your house with a jar of peanut butter and a loaf of bread. I want to. All right,
Yes.
let me see. Let me see. Now, have you guys ever done apple butter? Apple butter is underrated. That's like a hidden gem. No, for real. Like it tastes good. Now you get you a peanut butter and apple butter sandwich, boy.
Sheesh.
Yuck.
But yeah, the Bloodline defeated KO and Street Profits. Like I said, I like how what happened to Bianca impacted Montez. But yeah, they got the job done. And then
Yeah.
Drew and Sheamus showed up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nice for them to show up midway through Raw instead of when the Bloodline like did their hostile takeover. Like, where were they at beforehand?
They
The
were
first
on
hour and a
their
half.
way.
So they were late to the show.
Yes.
You can argue that they were on there. I mean, you can argue that maybe they got a phone call since I think they both live in Nashville. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre live in Nashville. So
Miro should have showed up. He ain't doing anything else.
He's busy getting his back cracked by that chiropractor on YouTube.
oh
You
my
you
god.
guys know that one guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Miro's doing. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. But hey, got a title match Friday. That's dope.
Wait, who's got the title match Friday?
The Usos defend the titles
yeah,
against
that's right,
Sheamus and
yeah.
McIntyre. That should be interesting.
That's gonna be good. That's gonna be good.
I'm down. Let's talk about Prison Dom for a second. Yo. Prison Dom is probably my new favorite character. The little teardrops on his face and the toothpick. Oh my god. He was like, I served hard time. I love it. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it was great. I mean, I know it's kind of a little bit comical, but I mean, that's kind of what Dom has been the whole time. Like, he's just this punk kid who is like very serious and acts all hard and tough, but you see right through it. So it was just another evolution. I know Rhea kind of has like the face makeup on too, so I don't know if they're just gonna roll with that, and Dom always gonna have that teardrop forever. But it was a fun, like, 1 week type thing for Dom to do. And shout out to Breaking Kayfabe announcing his engagement not to Rhea Ripley.
What are your thoughts, Brian, on Prison Dom?
I thought it was great. I've been praising Dom and enjoying everything he's been doing with the Judgment Day. See, this is what he needed. He needed to just get around some vets, like Priest and Finn and just let it just breathe, just relax and just let it come to you. And he's doing it. And I'm excited for, what's the next holiday? When's the next holiday? Next time he shows up at
MLK
Ray's
Day.
house.
Shows up at MLK Day.
We know the Mysterio celebrate that.
No,
bro. I'd pop. Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, Valentine's Day to drop something off. Him and mommy coming to make
him and mommy drop something off to his real mommy. Yeah. I love it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Hurt Business reunion. So when Damage Control was walking backstage, you see Shelton, MVP, Cedric, all talking to Adam Pearce. Yo. Because Hurt Business was never in front of a crowd. Yo.
I love this.
Let's utilize everybody, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Let's really utilize these fools. I'm down, bro.
And that's what's so special about what Triple H is doing. Like, even though there might not be a spot for you to have a in-ring promo or a backstage promo, the little things he does with, having, the follow-up. We saw how MVP pulled Adam Pearce to the side and said he wanted to talk some business, right? That was like, 2-3 weeks ago? And then here we go. Now, this past Monday, him, Cedric, Shelton in the background, right before they go to commercial, I'm sure they were talking business, right? So this is good stuff, man. Omos, is he going to be a part of this too, you think?
I don't know. We'll see. Why not?
Why
It's
not?
intriguing. I just don't know how much you can get. Like, if you can get anything out of Cedric and Shelton at this point, that's the only thing I wonder. It's like,
Bro, you can. Because I was
and
watching.
besides, like, how many times have the MVP and Lash like turned on them, and it's like you're still going to come back for more?
Bro,
Do they know that's the only way they get on television?
MVP and Lashley have been running this gimmick since like TNA when MVP kicked Lashley out of the Beatdown Clan. Like they've been doing this for years, bro. It's crazy. But nah, bro. Like, I mean, you can get some because I was watching a video and I'm like, damn, Shelton Benjamin was so good, bro. Let's really utilize this dude before he's gone. Same with Cedric. I mess with Cedric. I think we can get something out of him for
They
real.
were also tag champs in front of nobody.
Yeah, like they all held those titles in front of nobody. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We got to.
Are you telling me those people in the Thunderdome didn't count?
You know, he wasn't alive, Audie. You know what I mean. Damage Control defeated Mia Yim and Becky Lynch.
Excuse me.
Good stuff. Love it.
Finally, Damage Control is winning matches back-to-back consecutive.
It was only like a half handicap match, but good for them. They finally got a win. And Becky Lynch like a complete idiot, just beating up on Bailey and then just letting Mia Yim take the pin. But
It is what it is.
shout out.
Yeah, shout out.
Good for them.
AEW Dynamite. Ricky Starks defeated Chris Jericho.
He did. It was a fun match. That Seattle crowd and kind of AEW crowds in general have been a lot harder recently. And
I'm gonna have to have a conversation with Chris. I mean, I love Ricky Starks. I'm like, Chris. No.
Starks got the win, a little outside interference, but that wasn't enough. Starks was able to get the win pretty clean, or I guess clean in his case. And
Would you beat him with a Rochambeau?
No, you got him. Didn't he get him with just a roll up?
I didn't.
I forget, but he
think
won him. No, it was a spear. He won the spear,
Yeah.
and he pinned him. So
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Jericho got the last laugh though.
Okay. I haven't seen this. Okay.
Got the last laugh.
Y'all can talk Dynamite because I haven't seen none.
that's fine. We got a Hangman and a Moxley promo. Hangman comes out and not cleared to wrestle yet, but I guess he can get cleared if he gets a positive test today. So they just outright announced that it's going to be Moxley and Hangman next week. Moxley comes out. We had some technical difficulties, and I think Moxley is the perfect person to handle technical difficulties, and they just go back and forth. Brian, what'd you think of the promo?
Promo was good. I did think that the microphone situation kind of messed it up. I know Moxley, when he's going and he's in a groove, and I know he does not like being messed up or interrupted.
And he had to say
anything.
like the same opening line 3 times.
Yeah, that sucked, but the crowd was hot enough to, be nice, right? And just kind of be like, we can't hear you. Like I'm glad they didn't. I know that they whatted somebody last night.
It was the Guns. I think they did the Guns.
It was the Guns. Yes, they whatted the Guns, but they did not what Moxley. And so that was cool. I did miss though why does Hangman want to fight Moxley?
So, and that's like the big issue I have with this whole feud to begin with is like Hangman is just angry at Moxley that he like gave him a concussion when it was just like a regular fight. And they've kind of tiptoed around, like not tiptoed, but they've kind of tried to write their way out of it. And they've done a better job than when Hangman was just outright just angry that he got a concussion because of Moxley like a couple months ago. But yeah, the story itself is not great. And Moxley like outright addressed it a couple weeks ago. He was like, bro, like we're in a fight. I hit you. Like it sucks that happened to you, but that's what happens in this business. So get over it.
Right. That's crazy. Yeah. The Hangman Moxley stuff, I know, it's already in works and it's going to happen. So hopefully it happens. And, we go back to telling some stories for Hangman and John Moxley.
Possibly.
I want to talk about the Gun Club real quick though, because man, they're so charismatic. They're so good. They're so good. I feel like they should be in WWE. Not saying that they don't fit AEW, but AEW doesn't really have very many wonky, weirdy, like, stoogey tag teams, right? Like all the tag teams and all the teams that they have. I mean, they got the best friends, right? But the best friends, even as individuals, they're all like great wrestlers.
I mean, they're almost like what the Acclaim were at like 8 months ago.
Who?
The Guns. Like they're just like a kooky, like, mid-lower level tag team that has their shtick.
That's true.
Maybe they get over. doing that. But I mean, I think it's a fun, like they're doing something. The FTR, it's actually good that FTR is doing something like actually in a storyline. And FTR was out in Japan, so they didn't do anything. They couldn't be on the show. But I agree. I think the Guns have, now that they've got out of their dad's shadow and they're kind of their own people, their own wrestlers, I think they're doing a pretty good job right now.
Yeah.
Staying in the tag team division, we had the Acclaim defend the AEW titles against Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. We had a dusty finish, but a babyface dusty finish where we got the heels winning, but then Aubrey Edwards came out to make the save, and then they reversed it, and then the Acclaim get the win at the end. So I saw the original title switch, so I was like, oh, they actually put the titles in them. I didn't see the switcheroo, so I was glad to see they kept the titles on the Acclaim. Big night for Aubrey Edwards. I think she's from the Seattle area, so she got a lot of pub, a lot of FaceTime in Seattle. So shout out Aubrey. It was a good match, and if you would have told me Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett are wrestling the Acclaim, like their first kind of post championship win, I would have rolled my eyes. But I think they've done like a decent job in doing so. And the rap that Caster did last week was probably his best rap he's ever done, even though Karen Jarrett was not a fan.
She wasn't a fan, and I'm glad he doubled down this week and had something to say. And I love it almost feels, I know Karen Jarrett was mad, but like, was Jeff really mad? I was seeing something on Twitter, like he had said something on the podcast or whatever about it, and then I saw what's his name, not Caster, Bowens had said something on Twitter. I didn't know if it was like a work or if it was really well,
I mean, after Caster got in trouble like a year or two ago, like I think every single thing he says now has to get vetted. So
okay,
I kind of, it has to get vetted through Tony. I still say if you're gonna say something about a man's wife, you're gonna like run it by him just to make sure it's cool. But you never know.
Yeah. Match was good though. I didn't think we'd ever see Jarrett and Lethal as teaming up in AEW, especially challenging for the tag titles. Honestly, I wasn't a fan of it at first either. But
why would you have to run it by him? Do you think these guys talk back there before they go out there?
Well, after Max Caster said a certain rap about a female, it didn't go over well, and then he also did like a Duke lacrosse joke, and
I mean, do you really think these guys talk before they go out there? What's wrong with you?
Well, according to Dax Harwood on his podcast, too many people talk backstage.
Sheesh.
Yeah, call it in the ring, brother.
Yeah,
which I listened to the FTR podcast, a tad bit disappointed. Basically, all the sound bites in the news was in what they leaked beforehand.
Wow.
Womp.
Continue on, guys. Continue.
I thought the stage set was really nice.
Yeah, I like it. I also like how they have like the entranceways kind of hidden, so it's kind of like just like screens everywhere. I thought it was cool.
It looks like SmackDown Live a little bit, like just the big screen and then the two side and then the middle the middle screen, or not necessarily SmackDown Live, but like how WWE used to have Raw and SmackDown. Well, they were slightly different. It looks really good. I'm not gonna hate on it because WWE. I'm a fan of the screens and what WWE does, and I'm not gonna like criticize AEW. Like, it's something fresh. They needed something like this. I will say that were they doing like just like this, like the logo type videos before they changed the set? Weren't they doing like what do they call them? I'm sorry, like
Titantrons
with the video style, like the ones where they show like matches
highlights
and stuff like that.
No, they've always been logos.
Yeah, the highlight videos I think are a thing of the past. Okay. I don't think they really have those.
See, I thought that's what they were doing at first, but okay. But yeah, it looks much better with the logos blasted up there with one big giant screen and then everything else. So I was excited.
Yeah, and even just like a simple thing is like the lighting of the crowd. Like when you have a big NBA, NHL style arena that you have filled, like light it up and make it, show that you're a big deal and you have a lot of people there. So I thought that was another thing. And hopefully they don't go down the WWE route, which it looks clean, it looks prestigious, but just like LED boards just plastered everywhere. Yeah, that's a little much for me, but it looks cool. But moving on, we get Bryan Danielson beating Tony Nese. coming home to Seattle, coming home to Washington, and then him and MJF go back and forth. Unfortunately, Katie isn't here to talk about the atrocious tan of MJF allegedly, but they go back and forth. I thought it was fantastic, and as long as Danielson wins every match until February 8th, he will wrestle MJF for the title in a 60-minute Iron Man match in San Francisco at Revolution.
Every time someone's in a feud with MJF, he has them do some crazy stuff. Like, you got to win all your matches. You got to win all your matches, but you have to hit your finisher and all of them, or you can't use your finisher in any of them. And you know,
spin around this bat 10 times and then jump through a flaming hoop.
Yeah. It was good. Do you think Brian will win the championship? I know that's a while away now, right?
I don't see it. I think it'd be a crappy finish, especially being there live, but maybe some sort of tie. I don't think they're going to do a tie finish. They probably would do like an overtime. MJF is going to hold the title, I think, a majority of the year, if not pretty much the entire year. So I don't see him losing this match.
A lot of pressure on that guy, man. They're trying to make him happy before 2024. I know that much.
He's definitely not signed already. We'll see. Then we get Swerve and AR Fox, a fun Pacific Northwest kind of legacy match. Swerve gets the win. I thought it was just good. And I think the world of Swerve. I think he's super talented. So kind of having him be the leader of his little group and showcasing what he can do, I am all for it.
Yeah, Swerve was good. I'm happy for him, and he's showing again just what he could bring to the table, and not just from in ring. We all know he's good in the ring, but just
I just think his swag is like different.
It is, man, and I'm glad that he gets to do it on his own now, because it was kind of disappointing to see him come to AEW and then kind of just get thrown right into a tag team right away, But now, he's the leader of his own group. Still kind of in a group setting, but I'm excited to see more singles matches with him, and maybe a TNT champion one day.
Maybe we had the one women's match on the card is Red Velvet and Jade Cargill beat Sky Blue and Kiera Hogan. Looks like we're getting some dissension with Red Velvet and Jade, so it looks like that's what's on the front. Staying in the women's division, Paige picked Toni Storm to be her tag team partner for next week at LA. Hikaru Shida didn't look very happy about that. We had Britt Baker dropping that she's the boss with a little wink. Brian, even though Toni Storm's announced, is she still going to be the tag team partner for Saraya, or is it going to be a certain CEO or a Monet Mercedes?
I think I don't know why they had to do this, because I think we all are expecting Mercedes anyways. I know that they're trying to throw us off, but I mean, and I guess if Hikaru Shida turning heel and doing something to get Toni Storm out of that match, if you can accomplish that, then I guess why not? That's pretty cool, I guess. But yeah, man, I'm anxious to see if it opens or closes the show next week. If what's it gonna look like? What's Mercedes? We know what Mercedes looks like in Japan, but what's Mercedes gonna look like on the second biggest wrestling company in the world?
I don't know. We'll find out next week. And then finally, we had Darby Allin defeating Samoa Joe for the TNT title. Darby in his hometown of Seattle, getting the win. We had Nick Wayne in the crowd. He gets involved a little bit with Joe, and Darby gets the win. You can tell he was like a little bit of emotional before and after the match. So a big moment for Darby to get a title win in his hometown. And so maybe phasing Joe out to be with Wardlow and possibly the ROH title, who knows, while Darby gets the TNT title again. Fun match.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
Pro wrestling, you're not supposed to win on your birthday or in your hometown. What is he doing? What is this man doing? He is going against the trades of the business. I don't like it.
I do wonder because they had the angle of Samoa Joe cutting off Wardlow's man button, so it's like Wardlow's just going to come back, and it's going to be a. Is that how you get Wardlow to get his win back, but yet not be the champion? I assume that's what they're doing.
Oh yeah, oh most definitely. Yeah, you said Nick Wayne was there.
He was.
You know where else Nick Wayne's going to be?
Where else
West
is he going to
Coast
be?
Pro tomorrow night, the State Room, South San Francisco. Can you work Fridays? Go watch Nick Wayne versus Alex Shelley. Titus Alexander defending the West Coast Pro title against Alec Price. Brian Keith versus Black Taurus. Ricky Shane Page versus Vinny Massaro. You got Sandra Moon versus what's her name? Vert Vixen. Team Filthy going up against the Conglomerate. Midas Creed, D. Rogan, the Bullet Cast heavyweight champion, Alpha Zoe, Kevin Blackwood versus Starboy Charlie, Robert Martyr versus Charles Mason. You don't want to miss that show. Go out and support West Coast Pro. They do a great job. This is the first one of the year, and they gonna set the State Room on fire because it's gonna be nothing.
Metaphorically, not literally.
No, not
arson.
Of course, no, that would be arson. We don't condone any arson or illegal acts, of course not. But
guys,
what?
I got a little bit of. I don't know if you guys been paying attention to the Twitter, but some breaking news, I guess, if you want to call it. Vince McMahon does indeed plan to return to WWE, and I guess is a quote from McMahon. He says WWE has an exceptional management team in place, and I do not intend for my return to have any impact on their roles, duties, or responsibilities. That's weird. I'm reading Fightful right now. It says Vince McMahon is plotting a return and sale. According to Lauren Thomas of the Wall Street Journal, McMahon is planning to return to the company and pursue a sale of the business. McMahon has reportedly told the company that he is electing himself and former co-presidents and directors Michelle Wilson and George Barrios to the board. This move will require 3 current directors to vacate their positions. Barrios and Wilson left WWE in January 2020 as part of a management transition. They were named co-presidents of the company in 2018. Previous attempts for McMahon to be reinstated have been rebuffed by the board, and he will need board approval if he assumes the role as executive chairman, which he reportedly expects to do. McMahon still has majority voting power due to his ownership of WWE Class B stock. The report goes on to state the board responded last month in a letter to Mr. McMahon that it was prepared to initiate a review process and would welcome working with him on it. It was reportedly unanimously agreed that Mr. McMahon's return to the business wouldn't be in shareholders' best interests. McMahon has reportedly communicated to the board that unless he has direct involvement as executive chairman from the outset of a strategic review, he won't support or approve any media rights deal or sale. WWE media rights for WWE Raw and WWE SmackDown are reportedly set to be negotiated in the near future as the contracts for both shows end in 2024. McMahon confirmed the news that he is taking action to return to the company and participate in media rights negotiation. He put out the following press release. I know this is long-winded, but it says Vince McMahon, the founder and controlling shareholder of World Wrestling Entertainment, Inc., announced today that he has taken necessary actions to position the company to capitalize on a unique opportunity to maximize long-term value for all WWE shareholders. The actions communicated to WWE's board of directors today via written consent include the election to the board of Mr. McMahon, as well as Michelle Wilson and George Barrios, former WWE co-presidents and board members, and currently the co-founders and co-CEOs of ISO's Capital Management, and the requisite, I don't know what that word is, removal from the board of 3 directors. Mr. McMahon expects to assume the role of executive chairman of the board. Mr. McMahon's new role will enable unified decision making through the company's upcoming media rights negotiation and a parallel full review of the company's strategic alternatives, which Mr. McMahon believes is the right course of action and in the best interest of WWE and WWE shareholders amidst the current dynamics in the media and entertainment industry. As Mr. McMahon has communicated to the board, he believes there is a narrow window of opportunity to create significant value for all shareholders, and that to do so, the strategic alternatives review must occur in tandem with the medium rights negotiations. He also expressed to the board that he believes these two initiatives require Mr. McMahon's direct participation, leadership, and support as controlling shareholder. Quote, WWE is entering a critical juncture in its history with the upcoming media rights negotiation, coinciding with increased industry-wide demand for quality content and live events, and with more companies seeking to own the intellectual property on their platform, said Mr. McMahon. The only way for WWE to fully capitalize on this opportunity is for me to return as executive chairman and support the management team in the negotiations for our media rights, and to combine that with the review of strategic alternatives. My return will allow WWE as well as any transaction counterparties to engage in these processes, knowing they will have the support of the controlling shareholder. Prior to delivering written consent, Mr. McMahon sent 2 separate letters to the board of directors late in December, in which he expressed the urgency of his return to the company as executive chairman and his desire to work collaboratively with the board and management team. Following conversations with representatives of the company both before and after Mr. McMahon's most recent letter on December 31st, Mr. McMahon determined consent with his rights as controlling shareholder that the steps announced today are necessary to maximize value for all WWE shareholders. And there's a ton more on this.
Why subscribe to Fightful? You can just listen to the Bulletcast.
Yeah. So basically, Vince wants to come back and sell the company. That's the bottom line.
Basically. So
That's it.
We can talk more about this next week when more of the dust settles. But
yeah, when we find
my
out
first
more.
inclination is this is gonna get ugly.
It's only the 5th day, and 2023 is off to a wild start already. I'm telling you, Mercedes Mone is in New Japan. Vince wants to come back and sell the company. If I can't run it, then nobody in my family can. That's basically what he's saying. Oh man, look, we're gonna come back and talk about this next week. In the Click is gonna have a hell of an episode with this one. Hey, tell Huey to hit me up because I got some things to say.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, go check out the newest episode of In the Click. I made my return with
maybe Under the Radar gets into it. Maybe we'll see what happens.
You know what? Absolutely, yeah. Go check out In the Click. You know, I was on there with Brian, Huey, and Tim for Pro Wrestling Unlimited. That was a great one. But yeah, no, thank you guys so much for listening to the first BC of 2023. We're gonna cover all that next week when we get some more information. But thank you guys so much. Be safe and stay dangerous.
Bullet cast. What's going on? Stacy. This elite podcast in here. Ain't nobody better. Look. Yeah. Listen to us every time we live in the side. When you turn it on, it's just defining the mind. If you feel it, our opinions is great. When everything we moving now with the state, turn us on if the feeling is right. Every opinion now comes from the heart. No time we move with a part. We on the radio, it's wrestling. Time's aggression. Here is the feeling in the proof. Get the lesson. And if you wanna prove it to you now, here's the feeling in the time and everything that we did. Listen to the senators connecting it, moving on everything that's pronouncing it. Everything we did in the time now with the testament. Here is the feeling when we live on the stage. And everything we do, turning the page. Nobody doesn't like us. The feeling when we move, we are excited. Elite podcasting. I know you
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.